Stepmother stole her rich husband and gave him to her stepsister. What happened next will shock you. Hi fam, welcome to Queen of Folktales. If you're just tuning into this channel, please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and tell us where you're watching from. Rain was threatening to fall. The sky wore a dark frown, like a stepmother ready to scold. Lightning rolled in the distance, and people hurried past the roadside like ants fleeing a flooded nest. But Cynthia did not move. She was seated on a low stool beside her smoky grill, fanning the glowing charcoal like her life depended on it. Her wrapper had once been white. Her sandals were worn down to the bone, and her fingers, once soft and elegant, were now hard and lined with tiny scars. The corn she roasted sizzled as drops of water began to fall. A hawker ran past her shouting, "Madam, rain is coming, oh!" Cynthia blinked, slowly, as if waking up from a faraway dream. She turned the corn again, her eyes blank, her body present. But her soul, lost somewhere between heartbreak and betrayal. Then a car engine purred. A long black Prado Jeep pulled up slowly and stopped a few feet away. The windows were tinted. The car was too clean for this side of town. Definitely not someone looking for corn. So she didn't look up. She was rather too busy thinking of how the rain would make it difficult for people to come out and patronize her. Her thought even drifted to her struggle earlier that morning. "Cynthia, hurry up. The market woman said she'll be gone by 10, shouted Mama Kaiki, her neighbor. "I'm coming," she replied softly, tying her headscarf tighter. It was old, but it still made her feel put together. She stepped outside with a basket in her hand. As she locked her door, her landlord's wife eyed her from the window. "Fine girl like you. If you had sense, you would have married a mechanic instead of waiting for an engineer who scattered your destiny," the woman muttered loud enough for her to hear, but she didn't reply. She was used to the insults. So she walked to the road, bought her fresh corn and charcoal, and set up her spot under the tree beside the bus stop. Same place every day. But today was different. Today her tears were close to the surface. She reached for a new cob of corn when her fingers trembled slightly. She quickly hid it, but the pain was rising, like hot air trapped in a balloon. She pressed her lips tightly together, blinking furiously. A little girl approached with her mother. The girl smiled at her. "Auntie, your corn smells nice." Cynthia smiled faintly. "Thank you. Can I have the biggest one?" "Of course." She handed it over, but as the mother paid, the woman looked at Cynthia carefully and asked, "Please don't be offended, but were you a teacher in Jos? You look familiar." Cynthia froze, then shook her head. "No, must be someone else." But the truth was, once long ago she had been everything a mother would pray for. Beautiful, brilliant, married to a fine man, promising career, glowing future, until her own blood took it all. And now she roasted corn. The tears came without permission. She looked away, pretending to check the fire, but one tear escaped, then another. She sniffed hard and wiped her face with the back of her hand. "Madam, this corn is burning, oh!" one impatient customer shouted. She forced a smile. "Sorry, sir, I'll change it." Her smile was tired, her soul even more tired. Then the car stopped opposite her stand and the door opened. From the Prado stepped a man, tall, dark, and dressed in a simple black caftan. No chains, no noise, but power followed him like perfume. He didn't speak immediately. He just stood still beside other customers, watching her, and Cynthia finally looked up. Their eyes met, and he a strong tingling in his spine and a calming peace in his soul. He also saw beauty buried in ashes. She was contented, not greedy. That was new, but before a word could pass between them, a voice called out, "Cynthia!" She flinched. It was Mama Juliet, the church gossip, a woman whose mouth had ruined 3 marriages and a house fellowship. "I've been hearing rumors, but I didn't believe it. You, roasting corn like this? Chineki." "Mama Juliet, good evening," Cynthia said quietly, looking down. "Good morning? That's your sister, Jennifer. She posted pictures yesterday, oh. They were eating sushi in Dubai. And you're here roasting maize in Lagos?" True, this life no balance." Cynthia gave a tired chuckle. "Ain't no balance at all." The man in the caftan was still there watching, but he wasn't judging. He was Curious, he finally stepped forward. How much for two? Cynthia blinked. Sir? 2 corns. I want to taste something different today. She swallowed. Just 200, sir. He handed her a crisp 1,000 naira note. Keep the change. She looked at the money, looked at him, and said, You must be new around here. People don't dash money on this street. They steal it. He smiled. Maybe I'm here to change that. She handed him the corn slowly, and for the first time in weeks, she smiled, a small one, and thanked him. As he walked back to his car, Cynthia stared at the charcoal. The tears returned, but softer now, and she whispered under her breath, Daddy, if you were still alive, I wouldn't be here. The clouds above finally opened up, yet she didn't run. She just sat there, letting the rain fall, washing her pain, one drop at a time. The last time she felt like a princess was the night before her father died. Then life was sweet. Not perfect, but sweet. Their small compound in Enugu was always filled with laughter, Ludo games, and Charles's loud voice, reading newspapers like breaking news would fall out if he didn't read fast. Jennifer, stop cheating, she would shout. I'm not cheating, you're just too slow. Jennifer, her little sister, would hiss back. And Charles, their father, he would shake his head and laugh, folding his paper. You girls will argue until Nigeria gets constant light. Jennifer, be nice. Your sister is 4 years older than you, he'd say, sipping his evening drink. Those were the days when both sisters shared everything. Same bucket, same school shoes, same school bag. On different days, of course. Their father made sure fairness was the law in the house. You're both queens in this house, he often said, pulling them into his arms after devotions. And her stepmother, Ginika, even though she had her mood swings, tried to pretend to agree. But the moment they're slumped at the breakfast table, everything cracked. Ginika's scream shook the neighbors awake. Charles! Charles! Oh! Jennifer was frozen. Cynthia rushed to her father's side, trying to lift him up with her tiny arms. The doctor later called it a massive stroke. Massive key, Ginika said, weeping. So you left me with 2 girls and no land to sell? Whoa! What kind of death is this? The burial was quiet but heavy. People whispered behind wrappers. That man loved those girls too much. God help them now. After the burial, Cynthia stood beside the black and white framed photo of her father and whispered, Daddy, I'll make you proud. Jennifer, on the other hand, was more worried about the inheritance. What about Daddy's phone and his ATM? I need some money. 2 months later, the house had changed. No more Ludo games, no more evening malt, no more fairness. Ginika turned bitter and bolder. She started calling Cynthia too proud, too bookish, and just like your father, forming intelligence everywhere. Meanwhile, Jennifer became her handbag. Literally. Jennifer, come and follow me to Mama Nkechi's salon. Jennifer, help me lock the shop. Jennifer, I'll buy you new slippers, her stepmother always echoed. And she left at home to cook, clean, and read with candlelight. One day, her stepmother came back from the shop looking angry. Cynthia, Jennifer said you took her cream. Cynthia stood up from the kitchen floor, her hands white with flour. Me? I didn't. Gobwa! A hot slap landed on her cheek before the sentence ended. Ginika hissed, You see? Even the way you talk is annoying. Jennifer stood behind her mother, pretending to cry. I just wanted to rub cream and now everything is scattered because of her. She sobbed dramatically, eyes dry like harmattan leaf. Cynthia blinked back tears. That night, she ate burnt rice and beans, while Jennifer devoured fried plantain and peppered gizzard. At school, it was a different story. Cynthia was every teacher's favorite. Her essays got read aloud during assembly. Her name was always on the honor board. One day, the principal called Ginika to tell her that Cynthia was being considered for a scholarship. She rolled her eyes and asked, What about Jennifer? She's trying, the principal offered, struggling for words. Ginika nodded with a stiff smile but pulled Cynthia aside afterward. Stop making your sister look bad. Must you always shine? You want people to think she's dull? Cynthia blinked, confused. But I just read my books. Ginika leaned closer and hissed, Try and be humble. It's not everything they teach you in school you must know. On Jennifer's 16th birthday, Ginika bought her a gold-colored gown, fixed her nails, and threw a small party. Meanwhile, Cynthia helped with cooking, decorating, and serving food. When a guest asked her, "Are you Jennifer's cousin?" Ginika laughed and answered before Cynthia could open her mouth. "She's just the help," Cynthia smiled, even though her heart felt like a deflated balloon. Her own birthday came and went, and all she got was an expired chin-chin from the bottom of Jennifer's party cooler. Later that night, she sat in their shared room, hugging her knees. "I wish my mother didn't die after giving birth to me," she whispered, staring at the ceiling. Jennifer walked in, smirking. "Oh, please, are you crying again? Should I call my mummy to come see your drama?" She wiped her tears and stood up. "I'm not crying, I'm praying." Jennifer chuckled. "Better pray well, because nothing you're hoping for will come to you first. I'll always get there before you." She slammed the door, and Cynthia whispered to the darkness, "Let's see what God says." They say when a woman is beautiful and intelligent, the world opens up for her. But if she has a jealous stepsister and a wicked stepmother, she will go through the valley of the shadow of suffering first, and grace sometimes attracts jealousy first. By the time Cynthia got into the university, she had grown into everything her teachers had always predicted: tall, calm, intelligent, and beautiful. Her gap teeth made her smile more charming. She dressed modestly but neatly. Her lecturers adored her, and her roommates trusted her with secrets they couldn't even whisper to their own mothers. But none of that impressed the two women living under the same roof with her: Jennifer the saboteur and Ginika the wicked landlady of her own stepdaughter's joy. She was the kind of girl that brothers in fellowship fasted for. And the suitors? They came, steady. It started with Obiora, a gentle, responsible, fine banker. Obiora came visiting one evening. He had been coming to their house for 2 months now. Always respectful, always early, and he brought groceries each time like he was already married to the entire family. "Good evening, Ma," he greeted Ginika, bowing slightly. "Ee-hee," Ginika responded without looking up. She was more interested in a TV program than in her daughter's potential future. Then entered Jennifer in bum shorts and white crop top, smelling of strawberry body mist. "Hi," she purred, walking past like a Nollywood homewrecker in training. Obiora nodded briefly, uncomfortable. Jennifer smirked and left. Few days later, while Cynthia was in school, Jennifer sent Obiora a message from Cynthia's phone. "Can you come over? I need to talk to you privately." Obiora showed up thinking something was wrong, but what he found was Jennifer in a silk nightie, pretending to be Cynthia. She sat close, crossed her legs deliberately, and whispered, "Cynthia doesn't love you. She just likes the idea of you. I'm telling you this because I care about you." Obiora stood up, stunned. "This is wrong." She smiled and leaned on the wall. "Maybe you're confused, or maybe I'm just what you really want." That night, Obiora blocked Cynthia everywhere. WhatsApp, Facebook, even Twitter. No explanation, just gone. Cynthia cried for a week straight. "Did I do something?" she asked out loud. Jennifer scoffed. "Maybe he found out your real character. Not everyone likes boring church girls." Cynthia blinked. "Excuse me," Jennifer added calmly, while peeling a boiled egg. "You're too stiff. The guy came to visit, and you were discussing inflation. Are you a CBN official?" Then came Brother Timmy, gentle, scripture-filled, smiled like an angel. He used to send her morning texts like, "Good morning, dear," Proverbs 31:29. "Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all." God, when? They weren't dating yet, but everyone in church had started calling them prayer and power. Then one Sunday after fellowship, he didn't greet her. "Bro Timmy," she called, jogging after him. He turned like he saw a ghost. I can't be involved," he said. "Involved in what?" "Cynthia, I heard things. You're not who I thought you were." He walked away like she was SARS. Cynthia stood frozen. She went home, confronted Jennifer. "What did you do?" Jennifer looked up from filing her nails. "Me? I only told the truth. I said you used to write love letters to 3 boys in year 1, and now you're pretending to be Mother Mary." Cynthia was trembling. "Are you mad?" Jennifer stood up slowly. "No, I'm just the one who finally made this house interesting." Ginika walked in during the chaos. "What is going on here again?" Cynthia burst. "Mummy, She's ruining my life. All my suitors are disappearing because of her. Jennifer folded her arms and hissed. Which suitor? Is it Obiora that said you chew like a goat? Or Bro Teamy that saw you picking nose at fellowship? Cynthia leapt, but before her fingers could reach Jennifer's neck, Ginika intercepted her like a trained WWE referee, and Gwa! She landed a slap on Cynthia's cheek. You want to beat my daughter? Cynthia stood there, face burning, chest rising, and Jennifer stood behind her mother, laughing softly. Ginika added for effect, This is why men run away from you. Too much pride and violence. Learn from your sister. She's calm and sweet. Cynthia stormed into her room and cried like a widow with no mattress. NYSC posting came like heaven's whistle, and she was posted to Plateau State. She wasted no time and packed her bags that same night. When are you leaving? Ginika asked. Cynthia replied, Very early tomorrow morning. Jennifer laughed. Try not to die there. She entered the bus the next day, leaving behind the house, the insults, the madness, and the persecution. Jaws was cold, but Cynthia's heart started to heal, and that was when she met Magnus, a fine, dark, tall, young man with soft voice and a steady mind, who was the site engineer for the school building NYSC posted her to. He had noticed Cynthia one morning as she arranged teaching charts. You look like someone I knew in my nursery school, he said casually. Cynthia chuckled. That's your pickup line? He replied, No, that's my intro. They laughed together, became friends. Then, lovers. In the absence of no drama, no Jennifer, no stepmother, no sabotage, no wickedness. And 6 months later, he proposed in the staff room with gold ring and a rose bouquet. Cynthia laughed, cried, and said yes. They had a small wedding ceremony in Jos. No family, no invitation cards, just joy. And the devil didn't even see it coming. A few months later, Jennifer strutted into the house like a Nollywood actress returning from a London shoot. Where's everybody, Mummy? She called, dropping her travel bag. Ginika came out of the kitchen, wiping her hands. My baby's back. My golden daughter. My lawyer/model. Come and sit down. Let me warm that catfish soup. Jennifer removed her sunglasses dramatically. Mummy, you won't believe what NYSC did to me. I taught people with goat accents for 1 year. My skin almost peeled. But thank God I'm back to civilization. They hugged, gossiped, and sipped malt. Then Ginika said, Did you hear about your sister? Jennifer paused. What about her? She hissed. That useless girl went to Jos and got married like a thief in the night. Jennifer froze. Wait, she got married? To who? Some engineer guy. I didn't even see invitation O. Not even a text. She just sent me picture of ring and said, It's done. Jennifer's nose flared like a leaking tire. She what? Ginika leaned in and whispered like they were planning a coup. Don't worry, we'll visit them. I want to see the husband that made her feel bold enough to leave her family out. She smiled mischievously and said, Don't worry, Mummy. No need to visit. Let me go first and see the Yaya man. 2 days later, she landed in Jos and snopped her way onto Cynthia's doorstep. Uninvited, Cynthia was cooking the kitchen when the knock came. She opened the door and nearly choked on her spit. Jennifer. Standing there in high heels, mini dress, full lashes, and rage packed like a gift box. Surprised to see me? Jennifer asked, walking in without invitation. Cynthia stared. How did you know where I live? Your Instagram story. Rookie mistake, Jennifer said, throwing her bag on the chair. She closed the door slowly. Why are you here? Jennifer turned and said, To meet the man that made you think you've won. He's a man of honor, unlike those other ones you drove away. Cynthia, time will tell, Jennifer stylishly replied. Magnus came home that evening to find Jennifer in the living room, watching Z-World while eating chicken wings. He raised his brow. Hello, who are you? Jennifer stood up with the most deceptive smile ever printed. I'm Jennifer, your wife's baby sister, the last born, the more beautiful one, the one Mummy actually likes. Magnus frowned, uncomfortable, and mumbled, You're welcome. Jennifer touched his arm. Wow, your skin is soft, oh. Cynthia didn't tell me she married a chocolate king. Cynthia walked in at that moment, eyes narrowing. Jennifer, please respect yourself. She rolled her eyes and sat back down. I'm just playing. Or are we not family again? Days passed. Jennifer refused to leave. She said she needed to detox from NYSC trauma. But her real detox was Cynthia's marriage. She washed Magnus's clothes, woke early to fry plantain, even bought new boxers for him. Cynthia confronted her one night. You're crossing boundaries, she smirked. You can't gatekeep a man you claim to be faithful. Cynthia stepped forward and warned. Stay away from my husband. I can clearly see that you haven't changed. In fact, you're leaving my house first thing tomorrow morning. Jennifer did leave this next morning, but the deed had been done. Her husband suddenly stopped sleeping at home. He claimed to travel from one construction site to another. One time he came back after 3 weeks later to collect his Sabotage slippers and left immediately. That day she blocked the door and quarreled. Where exactly are you going? What's going on? Then he exhaled and said, Fine. Cynthia, this marriage isn't working anymore. I feel suffocated. Because I asked you not to flirt with my sister? She understands me, he said coldly. Immediately Jennifer entered the living room wearing his shirt. Cynthia gasped. Jennifer, you slept with my husband? She smiled like she just won a bet. Correction, your ex-husband. Since you didn't marry him in public, I assumed he was available. Cynthia called home, heartbroken, crying, begging her stepmother to intervene. All her stepmother said was, So what do you want me to do? Drag him back? If he prefers Jennifer, let them be. Maybe that's God's way of paying you back for killing your mother when she gave birth to you. Evil child. And she ended the call. Cynthia dropped the phone like it was fire. Alone, broke, ashamed, and wailed. That evening, Magnus came back to the house with Jennifer and threw her out of the house. The house she used to call home, with nothing. Not even a piece of a handkerchief followed her out of the house. And that was how she ended up in a Face Me, I Face You house in Ajagone. From Joe's to Lecky and now to Ajagone. She later found a spot and started roasting corn days, later since she wasn't allowed to pick her certificates, courtesy of the one she called sister and the one she called her soulmate, now presetly seated at her corn stand, a brand new black Lexus Jeep, plate number customized. Chris 1 drove in, slow, expensive, and arrogant. Heads turned. Nah, celeb, one pepper seller whispered. Be politician's son? Someone added. Then the door opened, and a handsome young stepped out. Tall, clean, fresh beard, smelling like old money and masculinity, and walked towards Cynthia's stand. She was so busy flipping corn and humming an old Chidin Ma's song that she didn't even notice the car nor the young man. Hi, he greeted. She looked up, and their eyes locked. He froze a little, and she blinked, then asked, Do you want corn, sir? He smiled. Yes, all of it. Cynthia blinked again. Sorry? I'll buy everything. I just want to sit with you for a bit while I eat. She raised a brow. Olga, this is not a date corner. It's roasted corn. He chuckled. I know. I patronized you last week. I guess you can't remember me. The way he said it, calm and soft, made something shift inside her chest. I'm sorry I don't. I meet so many people here every day. She wrapped the corn with newspapers, then inside a nylon, and sat half beside him calmly. He chewed slowly, eyes focused on her. My name is Chris and I like you. What's your name? She laughed dryly and whispered to herself. Interesting. I liked you from the moment that I saw you last week, and I can't stop thinking about you, he continued. She looked up. You don't know me, she said. Chris didn't flinch. I want to know you, and that's why I'm here, he replied. Only then did she relax and introduced herself to him. Surprisingly, he came back the next day, then the next, sometimes in suits, sometimes in joggers, sometimes straight from the gym, smelling like sweat, money, and coconut oil. Madam Cynthia, he would say, stepping out of his car, how's business? Cynthia would fold her arms, eyeing him with playful suspicion. Are you sure you're buying corn, or you are here to monitor me? Chris would smirk. I came for the corn, but I'm staying for the woman. Every time he said something slick, she would blush. And the other sellers on the street, they started whispering, "That corn girl has jazzed that big man, oh. That man doesn't eat corn again. He eats love." One day, Chris brought a foldable camping chair and sat beside her stand like a VIP guest. "Why are you sitting here like a governor?" Chris bit into the corn. "Because queens shouldn't sit alone." One afternoon, the rain came without warning. Cynthia was shivering under her umbrella, her coat drowning in the puddle. Suddenly, he drove up, parked, came out with an umbrella and barked, "Get in the car! I'm selling—" "You're freezing," he interrupted, "and I won't forgive you if you fall sick." She got in, slowly, carefully. They ate together in his car. He drove in with a hot plate of luxury fisherman soup. She dipped Simo shyly, and he wiped her mouth gently when soup stained her lip. And in that rainy silence, he held her hand for the first time. And she didn't pull back, surprising herself. She had sworn to stay off men after her ex-husband betrayed her. Jennifer, now madam of the house, was living in Cynthia's old flat with Magnus, whom she seduced and claimed. At first it was sweet. Magnus was spending small savings. Jennifer was posting fake soft life content on WhatsApp. Until one day Magnus lost his job and no jobs came. It seemed contracts avoided him the way a toothless old man avoids meat. He came back after endlessly searching for a job one day on foot and entered the kitchen to dish out food and met empty, dirty pots. "Why is there no food in this house?" he shouted. Jennifer came out, wrapper falling from her chest. "Why not go and cook it with your engineering certificate?" "Are you mad?" Magnus roared. "No, I'm broke, like you." And he answered her with a hot slap. "Bwah!" She staggered. "Did you just slap me?" "Yes, and I will do it again and again. Bad luck, witch from the pit of hell. I regret ever leaving Cynthia for you," Magnus barked. Jennifer screamed, picked his boxers, and flung them out the window. A heavy fight started until neighbors came in to separate them, and that was their modus operandi until Ginika heard about the chaos and came to visit. She entered and gloated, "Jennifer, my golden daughter." Jennifer, with swollen eye and busted lip, said, "Mummy, I think I collected a wrong husband. This one is a demon." Ginika gasped. "But he was sweet," Jennifer hissed. "That was before. Now he eats like a goat and shouts like generator." Ginika sat down, held her head. "So, the marriage she left quietly is now better than this one we snatched with full chest." Jennifer didn't answer, but Ginika cried her eyes out. One rainy afternoon, Magnus came back with his own mother. "I'm done," he said, unlocking the door. "I want you and your mother gone." Jennifer stood up. "Gone where? You think this is Kiki?" He dropped the ultimate bomb. "I want peace. I'm going back to beg my wife," Jennifer screamed. Ginika shouted, "God forbid! You'll marry Cynthia again over my dead body." Magnus turned slowly and answered, "Then get ready to become a dead body." The very next day, him and his mother dragged Jennifer and her mother outside with their bags like evicted tenants in a Nollywood movie. On the other end, Cynthia's relationship with Chris grew stronger and stronger, like Power Mike. They started texting and calling each other frequently. At first, just "good morning" and "how's your market?" Then it became, "Chris, I just closed a deal. I want to celebrate. You're free?" Cynthia, "Is there corn for the celebration?" Chris, "Only if you bring it with you. You're the full package." "Tell me something random," he would say. "I once tried to bleach my skin with tomato and honey." Chris laughed hard. "Did it work?" "I ended up smelling like jollof rice the whole day." They laughed. They sighed. They bonded. One night he asked, "Do you ever think about love again?" She was quiet for a long time, then whispered, "Sometimes. But I'm scared of loving wrong again." Chris said gently, "Then take your time. But if you ever feel safe enough, I'll be here." Cynthia stared at him, eyes wide, walls cracking, and for the first time, she whispered, "You're not like the others." He leaned closer, "And you're not like anyone." One evening, after another long talk, he walked her to her gate. The stars were out, the wind was soft, She stood smiling, nervous, hopeful. "Thank you, Chris," she said. "For what? For choosing to see me when I didn't even see myself?" He leaned in slowly, respectfully. "Can I kiss you?" he whispered. She nodded. It was soft, gentle, the kind of kiss that says, "You're safe now." And as he pulled back, he said, "I'm not trying to fix you. I'm just here to love the version of you that survived." Cynthia closed her eyes, smiled, and whispered, "Then stay, because she's finally ready." 2 months later, Cynthia was no longer roasting corn. She was running Chris's new food logistics company, Crown and Corn, office in Lecky, staff under her like the indomitable CEO she had become. One bright Wednesday afternoon, Magnus showed up at her office gate, begging. Security almost bounced him, but Cynthia said, "Let him in." He came in, knelt, tears flowing. "I was foolish, please forgive me. She used charm to blind me." She stood tall and quiet and said, "My stepmother and my stepsister are wicked, but they are not diabolical. Own your mistakes whenever you want to tender an apology. Nevertheless, I forgive you." As Magnus excitedly stood up thanking her, Chris walked in and curled his hand around Cynthia's waist and called her, "My love of life." Cynthia added, "This is Magnus, the ex-husband I told you about. Magnus, as you can see, I'm in my promised land." Chris shook Magnus's hand and said, "Thank you for letting her go for me." Magnus left the building feeling ashamed and dirty like a used takeaway plate. A few months later, Chris lured her to the same street where he met her and dropped to one knee beside her old corn stand and proposed, diamond ring in hand. The whole street gathered to watch and clapped happily. He said, "Let me be the lucky man who wakes up to see your beautiful face every morning for the rest of his life, the one who protects you from the world." Cynthia cried, then laughed and hugged him, chanting, "Yes, yes." Back in Enugu, Ginika and Jennifer watched the engagement video on someone else's phone. Jennifer whispered, "Is that Cynthia?" Ginika's eyes welled up. "Chai, we lost a diamond. That girl's future always had greatness written all over it, but my wickedness didn't allow me value it." Jennifer hissed, "She was never all that." Then Ginika turned and snapped, "Then why are you not the one in her position? Husband snatcher." That made Jennifer insult her mother as the mastermind behind her bad character and misfortune. Hence, they both quarreled and blamed each other for hours, which had been their modus operandi since they were thrown out by Magnus. After a while, Ginika started moving from one church to another, fasting and praying, begging God to bless Jennifer, her daughter, too. But even God seemed to say, "Not yet." Broke and desperate, Jennifer began shoplifting small things: deodorant, lip gloss, and plantain chips. She was caught one afternoon at a popular supermarket. Her face ended up on TikTok and Twitter. Caption, "Woman caught stealing roll-on at ShopRite." Social media users stormed the comments and rained her with curses and insults. Hence, she, the ever-active social media wannabe content creator, deactivated all her accounts and went into hiding. But the internet doesn't forget. Ginika fell sick one rainy night and with no other savior on her path. She shamefully and tearfully called Cynthia. It rang, then went straight to voicemail. Then she sent a voice note. "Nah, it's me, Mummy. I'm so sorry for all the pains I caused you. Biko, forgive me. I know that I do not deserve your forgiveness. You did nothing but love me as your biological mother. Yet I treated you like trash. Please show me mercy for the sake of your late father, my husband. I'm in so much pain now and I do not even have any money to eat. Talk more of going to the hospital for treatment. NWAM, please help me." Cynthia read it, then turned and instructed her PA to send 2 million naira to her stepmother. Yes, she didn't want her in her life anymore, but she wouldn't leave her to die. That night, as she sat in Chris's arms on their balcony, she whispered, "Thank you for being my sunshine." Months later, she launched a foundation for abused women and betrayed wives called From Ashes to Crown. During her speech, she says to the camera, "I dedicate this to every woman whose family tried to bury her because she dared to grow wings and fly to greatness, and every woman whose husband cheated on as if she weren't good enough. This is your space to heal and live again." The crowd claps. Jennifer, watching from a tiny room on a cracked phone screen, weeps silently, yet too proud to seek forgiveness. Cynthia didn't need to fight. She didn't lift a hand. She just rose, and Karma did a choreography on her behalf. Thank you for watching. What do you think of this story? Do share your thoughts with me in the comment section.